Afternoon. Could you just give us a little bit of team news, please? Who's available, and maybe how some of your injured ones are progressing and when we might see them?
Yeah, from last week, last game, Ben Davies obviously came on with hamstring, so probably looking at about a month or so for him out. Gio and Celso, similarly, although it's a bit harder to sort of diagnose where he's at the moment. We're going to sort of send him for further tests Monday to see exactly what the issue is, but he'll miss this weekend. Scarlett's picked up an injury as well at training, so he'll miss out. And that's it really. And then sort of coming back, the only one that sort of joined the main group today has been Romero, and that's it. I think everyone else who's injured still training away from the main group.
Is Romero close?
Well, he's just sort of started training, so fair to say probably might be a bit quick this weekend.
You obviously have made a couple of signings this week, nice and early as you wanted in the window. Radu, Dragusin, we've seen the clips, we've seen the sort of stats, but what do you like about him, particularly as a player, but also as a person? How will he fit into what you're trying to do here?
Yeah, look, obviously we knew that sort of that position was a priority position for us going into the January window. We kind of went through the first half of the year. We let sort of Davies and Sanchez go after the window closed, so we kind of knew that if the right opportunity came in January, that we had to sort of try and bring somebody in, and so we did a fair bit of work on it. And once we got sort of closer to the time where we had to make a decision about which way to go, Johan and his team sort of did a lot of background work on it, and I think he's just a good fit for us from a football perspective. Certainly he has some great attributes as a young player. And after my chats with him, obviously as a person as well, I think he's come here sort of with the right motivations about why he wants to make the next step and why Tottenham's the right club for him. So I think he'll fit in really well with the group we've got here at the moment. There's quite a few of them sort of at a similar age bracket, and part of that process is hopefully we can build a team that sort of grows together, and I'm sure he'll be a good fit for that.
We know a lot more about Timo Werner. We've seen a bit more of him in the Premier League, but what do you want to see from him in a Spurs shirt over the next few months?
Look, again, I thought it was just a real good opportunity for us. When it was presented to me, before the new year, that we kind of knew, particularly with Sonny going away for such a period of time, and we still felt we probably needed another player in the front third, and whilst centre back was a priority, if a good opportunity came, we wanted to move fairly quickly. And again, I had a good chat to Johan about it, and I thought Timo would be a really good fit for us stylistically. Certainly has the attributes we look for in a player in that space. He can play all three positions, which adds kind of some real depth for us and, and quality in the front third. And again, after I had a chat to him, he's really motivated. He really likes the opportunity that Tottenham can give him in terms of where he's at in his career, and I think he can add to us as a group.
Charlie.
Hi, Ange. Just staying on Timo, he said you both had a chat before he came, and he spoke about the flexibility that he has in attack. With Son obviously away for the next month or so, do you think it's likely we'll see him playing out on the left, and where do you see him specifically fitting into that attack?
No, I think part of the attraction was that he can play sort of left, right. He can play through the middle, and as I said, with Sonny away, obviously, we've still got a fairly extensive injury list, and we've kind of used Deki, Kulusevski, in the wide areas in midfield, and I just think having Timo in gives us that flexibility and opportunity to play him anywhere there, depending on the game. Can change it during the game, so that was part of the appeal, that I think he's equally comfortable in all those areas.
Just one more for me. Looking ahead to Manchester United, they've been inconsistent this season. So, what are you expecting? What can you expect from them on Sunday?
I think you go to these games expecting them to be at their best. Like I said, they've been inconsistent, but when they've played well, they're still a very, very good football side, and they've certainly got some real quality right throughout their team, and particularly at Old Trafford. You know, it's going to be a difficult game. The supporters will be behind them, so we're expecting a tough game. Great challenge for us, but so far, in those kind of venues, in the bigger stadiums against the top teams, so far we've done fairly well. But it'll be another good challenge for us come Sunday.
Hi, Ange. How are you?
Good, thanks, mate.
Hugo Lloris has gone. Harry Kane's gone. Eric's gone to Bayern Munich as well. Feels like there's been a real changing of the guard here in the last few months. Do you feel like this is now getting towards being your team?
No, it's been my team from day one. I take responsibility for the team from the moment I arrived, and I haven't felt like it's anyone else's team but mine from the first day. But as you said, and I've said a few times that the club made a conscious decision that kind of to pivot and change in the way we went about things, and for that to happen, you need to also have change in personnel. And as you said, Hugo left, and Eric moves on to another sort of chapter in his career. He's another one who's had a fantastic career here at Tottenham. He's left his mark. He was part of a very, very good football side that made many great memories for our supporters here, and I think he certainly leaves his mark on his time here at Tottenham, and he moves to another big club and hopefully has success in his next career. And for us, it's just a constant sort of evolution of trying to inch forward and step forward to becoming sort of the team we want to be. And as I keep saying, we're still at the early stages of that.
Timo Werner was a little bit unlucky at Chelsea. In fact, in terms of the fact that when he arrived, it was during COVID. Largely, most of his career was played during that uncertain season where we had no crowds and then limited crowds back. His time at Chelsea doesn't make him a bad player, but how much is it for you as a manager to kind of prove to everybody in England he is a good player by what he shows at Spurs?
Again, I don't look too much into that. I kind of look at, always, when talking about bringing players in, for me, it's do I see them, playing in the football team that I've got right now and I want to create. And if I do see them from a football perspective, then it's about understanding where they are in their lives and their own sort of careers. And obviously Timo was at a point where he was looking for something to sort of change from his current status, and there was a possibility that moving was one of those options. And I said once I spoke to him, it's about where he's at now. What's happened in the past is not really relevant. It's he's still at a good age. He's still very motivated. He's got national team aspirations. And he wants to play at the highest possible level. And this football club offers him that opportunity now.
Angelo, when Timo was at Chelsea, I think he had a record of 16 disallowed goals. So just sort of wondering, he was caught offside a lot as well. He's just a very unlucky player, or is that something that you've identified that you can make him better at? Because that could potentially be a lot of points for Tottenham this season if you can convert those into legitimate goals.
Yeah, again, I think that's probably not the way I look at it. Like I said, I'm looking at today and what he can give us today, and not looking at something that happened 3-4 years ago. I just don't think is relevant. I dare suggest he's a different player, certainly a different person. We all sort of, with the more experiences we have, we evolve. We kind of grow up in many sense. There's more maturity. He's probably a different stage of his life. So, again, I don't look at it that way. What I look at is if we bring Timo in, can he contribute to the side we have today and the way we play, and like I said, provided his motivations are right, I think I saw there was an opportunity there for him and for us to sort of use this as a platform to help us achieve our goals.
How will pass Radu Dragusin from the low defense of Genoa to the aggressive, ultra aggressive, I can say high defense of Tottenham, and how will be the fight of three very good players, Van de Ven, Romero, and Radu, for just two positions in the middle of the defense. You always played 4 defense, 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. But you might change the system for them to have all three in the team.
No, because even though you describe it that way, the reality is I've had 0 centre-backs for 2 positions most of this year. So, and I've had to play full-backs in there. So the reason we want Radu in is because, we know that, it's not just injuries, but there's certain games we want to change things and we need more than 2 top centre-backs. And, bringing Radu in gives us that opportunity now to have 3 top centre-backs. Different games will call for different things. Allows us to sort of manage the playing time of those players so we don't get as many injuries as we've had. So that was really important. And in terms of the different style, it's something I spoke to Radu about, that we obviously play very differently from what he's used to, but he liked that. He was attracted to that. It's what he thinks he needs for the next stage of his career. And again, that was pleasing to me because it will be different, very different. But again, I think he's a quick learner, and already he's asking all the questions he needs to ask and what he needs to do to improve, and I'm sure he'll do that.
Our national coach, Eduard Jordanescu, would like to see him playing almost every week, every day, because the European Championship is 5 months away. Are you going to give him as many opportunities to play?
He'll have the same opportunities as everyone else, but also if Radu just wanted to play, he would have stayed at Genoa. He's come to a big club. When you go to a big club, you know that you have to compete. That's part of your development, and I think even for the Romanian national team, Radu being at a big club, competing against the World Cup winner in Romero and Mickey van der Ven, who's, I think, fast will become one of the best defenders in his space, I think is exactly where Radu needs to be, and it'll benefit the national team.
The last question, are you going to put him in the squad on Sunday?
We'll see how, hopefully all the paperwork gets done, but if all the paperwork gets done, he will be in the squad, yes.
And in the first lineup?
I usually tell the team first before I tell the journalists, so we'll just wait and see, okay?